Good day, and welcome to another edition of CUTV News. The Kent Commissions on newspapers rolled into Montreal this week, and the journalism program was ready for them. Monday night, journalism director Lindsay Chrysler and associate professor Dr. N. Rodsep appeared before the commission armed with a 108-page study on Montreal's English language media. Students and faculty contributed to the study, which included the results of interviews with community leaders and a public opinion survey. Professor N. Rodsep told CUTV the main recommendations of the journalism program. Montrealers would prefer if another English language daily was to compete with the Gazette, Concordia journalism professors told Commissioners Borden Spears and Laurent Picard. The journalism program surveyed 687 Montrealers, and 68% thought the Gazette would do a better job if it had to compete with one or more English language dailies. The director of the journalism program also said press council should be compulsory and should have the power to enforce a code of ethics on member newspapers. Chrysler also said that the public does not know enough about what a press council is or what it does. Aside from the public's right to know, the journalism study emphasized the public's right to remain anonymous in news stories. Commissioner Borden Spears questioned this policy, asking if it advocated shield laws. The Royal Commission on Newspapers was set up last September after the Southern chain closed the Winnipeg Tribune and the Thompson chain closed the Ottawa Journal on the same day. The public should be informed about these types of transactions, said Professor Rodsep. The journalism study proposes that a newspaper or other media outlet give 3 months' notice if it is to be closed and/or sold. According to the study, concentration of newspaper ownership should be stopped altogether. It suggests the law impose limits on how much property a chain can own. Among other proposals, it recommends that media companies be forbidden from owning or participating in other businesses. The CUSA presidential team of Glenn Murray and Dean Arfin was formally acclaimed February 9th. On February 4th, 2 teams had been nominated, but on February 9th, Balbanian and Papoutis withdrew their nominations because of an internal dispute over platform. In the 1980-81 school year, co-president Glenn Murray was chairman of the Priorities Committee, student caucus leader of the Arts and Science Faculty Council, president of the Student Association of the School of Community and Public Affairs, and legislative counselor of Arts and Sciences. CUTV asked co-president Glenn Murray to discuss his party's platform for the 1981-82 school year.
First of all, we want to balance the budget next year, which means that we will not spend more money than is garnered through student fees that are collected this fall. Second of all, we're looking at alternate revenue sources. By that, I mean things like, for example, at McGill they have Sadie's, which is a bookstore type operation that sells journals, cigarettes, and that brings in for McGill about $50,000 a year. So we're going to look at other ways that the Student Association can bring in money other than just relying on the money that's paid into students' pockets.
Do you have something in mind for that?
Okay, well we're looking at a campus shop. We're looking at a services policy and programming where we would run beer bashes not on a massive subsidy, but as cooperative money-making ventures for CUSA and for its members associations like faculty associations and department associations.
I see. You mentioned library services too. What library services do you intend to improve, and at what library?
Okay, well, at both libraries in different ways. At Vanier, there's been a major problem. A lot of the student space, or student study space and bookshelf space, has been taken over by large offices which are used by two or three administrators or secretaries, and returning some of that space to students as study space and shifting those people out of there. I mean, you just have to look at the library here at Sir George, which is sort of raft with complaints. The other side of that is we're moving into a new library facility across the street from the hall building.
But how many years is that going to be?
That'll be a couple of years from now, maybe 2-3 years.
A controversy has arisen concerning the validity of the new president's rule. Individuals are claiming that elected student association presidents will have a clearer mandate to represent the students. Yet of the 28 legislative council seats, 24 have been filled by acclamation. Only one of the remaining 4 seats in the engineering department is being contested. The mezzanine was a somber place this week, as Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the Armenian Students Association and the Hillel Student Society presented an exhibit on genocide. CUTV reporter Shlomo Schwartzberg spoke with the organizers.
Armenians during World War II, an event that to this day is unknown in the annals of history. It is to commemorate that Armenian massacre and the Holocaust that Hillel, the Jewish Students Organization, and the Armenian Students Association put on an exhibit on the mezzanine these past 3 days. I'm speaking with Mike Seidem, the head of the Armenian Students Association. Would you please tell us why you think the Armenian massacre is unknown to this day?
Well, one of the reasons is after the genocide happened, the superpowers that didn't want to talk about it, in a way, they felt guilty because they just watched it and stood by. And the second thing is lack of documentation on the genocide because of the date, which happened about 6.5 decades ago. And even superpowers doesn't want to talk because of Turkey's position in NATO and strategic importance in viewpoint of United States.
And now I'm speaking to Gary Plotkin, another organizer of this exhibit. What did you hope to accomplish with this exhibit?
Well, the whole idea of it was for the Armenians in the Armenian Society and Hillel to get together and to show the genocides which occurred to both of our nations. In fact, to show like the horrors and to the injustices that have occurred, and to tell people that it happened twice and that it could happen a third time.
Thank you. The exhibit consists of slides and films depicting the gradual steps that led to the extermination of 6 million Jews by the Nazis, as well as a record of the Armenian massacre and what they have contributed to society.
Our sports camera witnessed the Concordia Stingers men's hockey team first defeat of the season last night. The Trois-Rivières Patriotes edged our Stingers by a score of 5-3. There was little action in the first and second periods, but the final segment turned out to be a one-period game. The Stingers tied at 3 apiece in the middle of the period, but the Patriots came back with their winning goal within 4 minutes of the end of the game. Is there more? How much more? And finally, to put the cherry on the sundae, Trois-Rivières scored into an empty net. " Good day and thank you for watching CUTV News.